If you skip this video in the next 10 seconds, you will probably never understand how the world's money system actually works. And I don't say that to scare you. I say that because what you believe about inflation is only the surface. The real system is something most people never see, never study, and never question. And by the end of this video, you will realize something very uncomfortable. Prices are not rising randomly. They are rising for a reason built into the system itself. Now, before you leave, just give me a few minutes, because what you are about to hear explains why inflation never truly ends, and why that might actually be necessary for the global economy to function. Let's start from the beginning. Every year, you feel it. Things become more expensive. Your salary doesn't feel enough. And everyone around you repeats the same line. It's just inflation. But nobody explains what inflation really is, or why it never disappears. To understand that, you need to understand something most people never think about: money itself. Most people believe money is something fixed: cash, coins, or numbers in a bank account. But in reality, modern money is created in a completely different way. Most of the money in the world today is created when banks give loans. When a loan is issued, new money is created in that moment. It is not taken from somewhere else. It is generated through credit. This means the total money in the system is always connected to borrowing. If borrowing increases, money increases. If borrowing slows down, money slows down. And if borrowing stops completely, the flow of money starts to freeze. This is the foundation of the entire system. Now here is where it gets interesting. In every modern economy, debt is not optional. It is required for growth. Governments borrow, companies borrow, individuals borrow, and all of this borrowing adds new money into circulation. But there is a problem hidden inside this system. The supply of goods and services does not grow at the exact same speed as money creation. So when money increases faster than production, prices go up. That is inflation. But here is the part almost nobody understands. A small level of inflation is actually built into the system on purpose. Most central banks aim for around 2% inflation every year. Not because they want people to suffer, but because a completely stable price system creates economic stagnation. If prices do not rise at all, people delay spending, businesses delay investment, and economic activity slows down. So the system is designed to gently expand over time. Now let's go deeper. Every loan in the system comes with interest, and interest changes everything, because it means you must repay more money than what originally existed. So over time, the system requires more money in the future than exists today. And how is that extra money created? Through more borrowing. This creates a cycle. Borrowing creates money. Money creates spending. Spending creates growth. And growth creates confidence for more borrowing. This is the engine of the modern economy. But inside this engine is constant pressure. Because debt does not disappear. It must always be serviced. Even during crises, even during recessions, payments still exist. Interest still accumulates. This is why the system is always pushed toward expansion, and expansion naturally leads to inflation over time. Now imagine something extreme. What if inflation suddenly stopped completely? At first, it would sound like a perfect situation: stable prices, predictable life, safer savings. But in reality, it would signal something much deeper. It would mean borrowing is slowing down, and if borrowing slows too much, the creation of new money also slows down. That leads to reduced spending, lower investment, weaker economic growth, and eventually, economic slowdown or recession conditions. Because modern economies do not run on static money. They run on continuously expanding credit. This is why central banks watch inflation so closely, not just to control prices, but to control the flow of the entire financial system. If inflation is too high, the system becomes unstable. If inflation is too low, the system slows down. So policymakers constantly try to maintain balance, not perfection, but controlled movement. A system that keeps expanding without breaking. And this brings us to the final truth. Inflation is not just rising prices. It is a reflection of how the entire monetary system is designed. A system built on debt, credit, and continuous expansion. And as long as that system exists, inflation will never fully disappear. It will rise, it will fall, but it will always remain part of the structure. Because removing inflation completely would require rebuilding the entire financial system from the ground up. So the next time you see prices going up, don't just think it is random. Think about the system behind it. Because inflation is not the mistake. It is the signal that the system is still moving. And the real question is not why inflation exists, but whether a system built on constant expansion can ever exist without it.